Hey guys, today I am here to bring you the mid-year freakout tag, or whatever it's called. I will leave the questions and if I can find the original creator down below. I know I'm kind of like late to the game, but that's totally intentional. The middle of the year doesn't actually hit until, you know, June 30th, which is today, or July 1st, which is probably the day this is going live. So I'm a little anal, a little OCD, and so we are like mid-year exactly going over these questions. First, a little bit of an overview. I've actually had a pretty decent reading year so far. I haven't actually checked to see how many books I've read, but I'm definitely on track for hitting kind of like last year. I think I hit close to 190 books read. I'm not trying to beat that. I'm not trying to even keep up with that. I actually wanted to scale back this year, but I'm just kind of reading for fun and it's working really well for me. The first half of my year, like the first half of the year, definitely had a lot of duds, but the second half of the first half, you know, so the second quarter, that's how it goes, has been a lot better. And so yeah, let's get into some of these questions. The first question is, what is the best book that you've read this year? And I actually had a really hard time with this. I've read quite a few like good books, but to pick a best book has been really hard because I feel like there haven't really been a whole lot of like amazing books so far this year, but there have been like some good ones. So the book I ended up choosing to fulfill this, I feel a little hesitant because I just finished it, and sometimes a book is better right after you finished it than it is like after it's had time to sit. But I'm going to pick Fragments of Fear for this prompt. I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm going to agree with this even in a week's time, never mind like a few months' time, but this is a Christian suspense book that it had me riveted. Like page 68 I stopped and I told Jared, okay, I'm like, I have to tell you all the different things that have happened so far, and like so many things happen right off the bat in this book, and I really like getting sucked in, and it's just like you're turning page after page after page, and I loved that feeling. And so for that reason, this one is going to be considered my best book of the year, though that could probably be argued and other books could probably fill this spot. But I thoroughly enjoyed the reading process of this one. And then best sequel might actually be surprising to some of you because the best sequel that I actually haven't even finished yet, but one that I'm really enjoying is Words of Radiance. So I am currently approximately 800 pages into this 1300 page book. So maybe this is, you know, premature, but I found book one pretty slow. I have a whole review about it, kind of sharing some of my thoughts. But book two, I feel like things are finally, like, I understand the characters and I like them and we're getting somewhere, and I have been enjoying this. I've been doing a mix of like reading it physically and listening to it on audio, and that's been working well. You know, since today's the last day of the month, I don't think I'm going to quite finish it for the month of June, but I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to finish it eventually. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this reading process. So this one's like high fantasy. If you've been under a rock and have never heard of the Stormlight Archive, I don't know if I would really recommend it, but I'm enjoying book two. Okay, a new release you want to read yet? So I went back to look at my list of my anticipated reads for the beginning half of the year that I made at the beginning of the year, and there's two books on there that I have not read that I really still want to read. So there's Rescue by Jennifer Nielsen. That is I think it's like middle grade World War II, some kind of historical fiction. I'm pretty sure it's World War II. So there's that one I really want to read, and I still haven't even read On the Cliffs of Foxglove Manor by Jamie Jo Wright. That's like Christian suspense, dual timeline kind of thing. And the reason is, I have the ebook. I've enjoyed Jamie Jo Wright's books, but I know the physical copy is on its way in the mail to me. And if I have the option to read an ebook or a physical copy, like I'm going to choose a physical copy, like hands down. So I'm just waiting for that. I feel bad, like I really want to read it. But yeah, so I haven't read that one yet. So hopefully I can get to both of those ASAP. Hopefully On the Cliffs of Foxglove Manor enters my mailbox like this week. That'd be nice. Next question is your most anticipated read, I think, for the next half of the year. I wrote down a few books that are coming out in the next little bit that I'm most excited about. I have a video of anticipated releases for the second half of the year, but I picked three that I'm the most excited about. First of all, Cytonic is the name of Brandon Sanderson's Skyward series, book 3 coming out. So like absolutely excited about that one. I'm extremely excited about Morgan L. Boosie's Secrets in the Mist. I always want to say that one wrong. That is Christian steampunk, I think. And I don't even know what it's about. I just know the cover looks gorgeous, and I've been really impressed with her books, so yeah, want that one. And she has a bunch of pre-order goodies, so I should really like pre-order the book and like see if I can get in on those. And then my third one is the next Aggie Morton. I've read both of the other two Aggie Mortons this year, and I'm really excited that a third one is coming out. I don't even remember what it's actually called, but definitely going to read that one. So those three I would like to absolutely get read before the end of the year. My biggest disappointment of the year was one of my anticipated releases, actually, and that is The Secrets of Mrs. Christie. It's supposed to be like talking about the 11 days where Agatha Christie disappeared in, I don't even remember now, the 50s or something. And I didn't like how it was set up. I didn't like how it portrayed her. I didn't like how it portrayed her husband. I didn't like any of it. And it has a spoiler for one of my absolute favorite Agatha Christie book, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. If you have not read that book, do not read The Secret of Mrs. Christie, whatever it's called. Actually, just don't read it anyway, because I thought it was kind of terrible. My favorite new author, so I have two. Carrie Stewart Parks. I think this year is the first time I've read any of her books, and I've read 4 of them now, and I have about that many more that I want to read. So her, and then I actually forget whoever wrote the Aggie Morton series. I've been really enjoying that one, and I found out somehow that she's actually Canadian. I don't even remember her name, but so she's going down as one of my favorite new authors as well. Oh, I missed a question. Your biggest surprise. So kind of like flopping from your biggest disappointment to your biggest surprise. And I would have to say my biggest surprise has been the Inheritance games. So it's like YA, kind of like mystery. I don't even know exactly what category it's in, but normally YA books I find, I don't know, push the limits too much. I don't really like them. But I was thoroughly impressed. I only gave it 4 stars, but it still sticks with me. The narrator was really great, and yeah, so I'm excited for, actually they have a second book coming out. I don't remember what it's called, later this year as well. It's kind of another one of my anticipated releases for the year. Then is your newest fictional crush, which like a lot of booktubers I don't do. I think is weird. I'm married, so like my crush is my husband. I think it's, yeah, I don't even think it's right to be crushing on characters. But speaking of like good solid moral characters, I have to say that I have been very impressed. Oh, and wait, I can't say anything because the next one is your favorite character, so we'll go into this. My favorite character lately has been Shalon from this series. Also Kaladin. Oh, actually, Adolin and Dalinar as well. Pretty much all his characters. I feel like they all have really high, really strong morals, even though they are like put in these incredibly hard situations, and I've been very impressed with that. So pretty much all of those characters. Then a book that made you cry. Where is it here? Here it is. I don't know if I like cried tears, but this is a book that made me emotional forever or a long, long time. I talked, I think, quite a bit about this in my reading vlog, I think, months ago. It's about a sibling set that has been adopted out of foster care, but it just talks about the trauma that they have, that they're still experiencing from the years that they were in foster care, and they go back to like their different houses, and it kind of shows where they got some of their interests and some of the things they loved and how people cared for them, but also like where they got some of the trauma. And yeah, it's hard, it's heavy. This is a middle grade book, but like I wouldn't give it to a middle grade kid just because it's so much. But I would definitely recommend reading it as an adult. Then, okay, the next one is like a book that made you happy, and I actually really struggled with this because I don't really read books to feel happy. I don't know, I don't really like happy books. But I did come up with, what's it called? The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Meadowstone. I kind of picked that one up on a whim because Krista had it in a library haul one time, and then we ended up reading it as a buddy read on my Patreon, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was like whimsical and silly. It kind of reminded me of Alice in Wonderland, but I don't like Alice in Wonderland, and I liked this. Yeah, so that would probably be like one that made me happy. Then The Most Beautiful Book You Bought. I didn't actually buy this one, but A Little Princess. This is like the most beautiful book I've received this year. I got this one from a friend for my birthday, and I have wanted this edition forever, so I'm excited to actually have this. And then the last question is a book you want to read by the end of the year, or books you want to read by the end of the year. I think I did a video on a bunch of books that I wanted to read, and there's 2 on that list that I still really want to read. There's a couple more that I haven't read that I I don't care about as much. But I still haven't actually read The Haunting at Bonaventure Circus by Jamie Jo Wright. I started this, like I got like 2 pages in, and then I had some other books I had to read, and then this has just been bumped. So this one I need to read soon. And as well, The Pond by Stephen James. This one I'm really excited about. I have just wanted to read this book for like the last like 2 years. So I'm going to get to it yet this summer. Okay, so that is like the end of the mid-year freakout tag, but this is not the end of the video, because what I want to do is do a little recap on my Read Your Bookshelf challenge. So if you don't know, back in December I announced my 2nd annual Read Your Bookshelf challenge, where I give a bunch of different prompts and you can read books to fulfill them, and at the end of the year / beginning of next year kind of, I'm going to do a $100 gift card giveaway to someone that has been doing the challenge. So I'll leave like the exact link information below with how to do all this, how to get in on this, but I want to talk about the books that I've read briefly, and the ones I want to read for the next couple months. So I just need to pull this up. I should have actually like pulled these books out, but I didn't. Oh, and one thing I wanted to note is it is called Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, but I don't care if you read library books. Actually, 1 or 2 of the ones I've read so far have been library books. I don't care. It was just a challenge to make people read, to feel creative in the reading, push them a little bit. There's no like exact science to this. It's just read a book, and if it fulfills the prompt, it fulfills the prompt. So January, the prompt that I gave was a home-ish word in the title. So I read A Single Light, because you know you have lights in your house. Yeah, so I read that one. I'm not really gonna go into these. That one was like okay. I think I gave it like 4 stars probably, but it wasn't nearly as good as the first one in that series. February I started The Savage Song, and I think I actually like, well, I definitely DNF'd the book. I'm trying to remember if I unhauled the book. I don't even know where it is. So yeah, that one. In March, there was a book recommended by a friend, and my daughter has been begging me to read Esperanza Rising, so I listened to that one on audio actually, and I really enjoyed that one. And April, it was 5 words or more in the title, so I read The Boy, the Bird, and the Coffin Maker, which is also kind of just like mediocre. It has not gone well for me on the Read Your Bookshelf challenge. May was a book you should have read before graduating high school. I actually did a reread of one that I read in high school, and that was Animal Farm, and I didn't like it just as much as I didn't in high school. In June, the prompt was an animal on the cover, so I read Land of the Cranes, and I wish this one would have been on audio because there's so many Spanish words. It's a free verse middle grade novel. There's so many Spanish words, and I didn't know them. They pulled me out of the story, and I just didn't understand a lot of the context on them. I think maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but or stereotypes. I feel like Americans would probably like it better, because in my general mind, I think that you guys all have like a better understanding of the Spanish language, just being closer to more Spanish speaking people. So yeah, I don't know. I'd be curious to try that one on audio sometime. Then I was going to pull up a couple books that I think I'm going to read for the next 2 prompts. In July for my TBR, I forgot to mention, I've pretty much forgotten every month to mention which books I'm reading for this challenge. I'm not really doing a very good job of it this year. I'm reading the books, but I'm not doing a good job telling you about them. So July is a title that starts with the first letter of your first name. So my first name starts with a C. So one that is already on my TBR is The Case of the Cryptic Crinoline. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce that, whatever. So there's a bunch of C's in here, and if the doesn't count for you, I have another book that I want to read in July that starts with a C, and that is Clap When You Land. This is a free verse novel. I don't really know what it's all about, but it's free verse, and somehow I got the large print edition, so I am just gonna be like flipping through these pages like nobody's business, because there's like hardly any words per page, but it's heavy. And then in August, we're going to do a book in a series, and my plan is to read one of the Stormlight Archive books then. So currently I'm still reading Words of Radiance. I was supposed to read Oathbringer in July, so maybe I'll do that. If I get Oathbringer read in July, then I want to read Rhythm of War in August, but Oathbringer might get bumped to August. We'll see. Or if I can't read it in 1 month, maybe I will pick a different book. I have a whole schwackload. Why do I keep using that word? I don't really know if that's a word. I have a lot of books that are part of series that I want to read. So maybe I'll pick something a little shorter for that official book on that prompt. Okay. So there's a little bit of a rundown on how I'm doing on the Read Your Bookshelf challenge. If you guys aren't already part of that, check out in the description. I'll leave the link to my announcement video, which has all the information. And yeah, there we go. There's my mid-year. Things are kind of going all right. I feel like we're in an upswing. I have high hopes for the last half of the year. And thanks for watching, guys.